Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Haas, Mr. Tortorello, Mr. Grubbs. Good morning. Just getting things moving along. How was your weekend? Did you all have a reasonably good weekend? I hope you did. Got my 90s era 𝗪𝗏 hat on. So happy to see you. Good morning. It's a Monday morning, and it's week 2 of Guitar Week. Guitar for everyone. Good morning. Yeah, what a wonderful weekend. We've got another group that we listened to this weekend. We listened to a song called Journeyman by a band called Denim Dennis. And you know what the really cool thing about that is the guitar player from that band is like a regular here on the live stream. So I just don't know. It's such an honor to be around just such wonderful musicians and life enthusiasts. So we've got the trem bar out this week, and we just wanted to explore this as an option, as opposed to the hardtail guitar. And we'll start with tune up. We have another group that's becoming pretty well known across this channel, which is Nun Puncher. Bear with me one moment while I just set up this thing. For some reason, I'm running a little bit behind this morning, and I have a new exercise a really simple and new exercise. Oh, you know what I wanted to talk about? I wanted to talk about addressing some of the issues that I had over the weekend with chord chemistry. Part of what, oh, here we go. Jason Bender, Mr. Bender, String Bender, greetings, hello today, Wisconsin, any Barry White, thanks. Oh yeah, wow. You're in a really cool spot, man. You're in a great spot, and I think we're all in a great spot. And not to get too overly dramatic about it, we have a live chat that works like this. This particular live chat is if you're engaging in the comments like Mr. Haas, Mr. Tortorello, Mr. Grubbs, Guitar for Everyone, and Mr. Bender at this moment. And the live chat becomes a banger of a resource, I think. So just contribute to the live chat like you're doing. This is typically meant to be a morning ritual for guitar growth. And sometimes that will include playing cover tunes, and other times it will include us just working through. Most of the time, more often than not, it will include us just sort of working through our morning routine, so that we can get to the chromatic stuff, get to the stuff that get down to the stuff that matters. And there are all kinds of opportunities for perceived fast growth on the instrument, fast tracks, get rich quick schemes, which all of the millionaire friends I know, none of it was get rich quick. None of it was anything like that. And then so we learn, I mean, as we go, like on the guitar, if we wanted to get guitar quick, that's a sort of can be sort of, maybe it happens, maybe there's just like a bolt of the finger of God comes down, or you go down to the crossroads, but there's really no shortcut, so why don't we go ahead and get going with the A440 tuning fork. And the tuning fork here is representative of concert pitch globally. And oh, I have these fine tuners on this bridge, right? So the nut, if you haven't seen, if you're new to this, the nut is like locked off with Allen wrench. The strings are clamped down, so like in real time, the active pieces, the active string set just reaches from the nut up here to the locked off position on the bridge or the saddle. There's a lot going on with our guitars, as you know. Even acoustic guitars, the simple acoustic guitar is nice hat. Yeah, cool. I was kind of waiting for some. It's been cold here. You know, that North Face Keep It Patched hat is one of my sort of go-tos, but when it's cold, I want to have I'd like to have ear flaps so that the ear flaps do come down. It's like a totally functional old 𝗥𝗲𝗰. I got it from the bike shop. 𝗚𝗂𝗶𝘁, it's 𝗚𝗂𝗶𝘁, right? So this is like the old school, like really cool stuff that I sort of like grew up with and really enjoy hanging on to. Have clothing that's older than my man-child now. So is there a guitar center near you? Go hold a bunch of guitars in and out of your price range to see what feels and sounds right. They'll also help you. That's good. There's another, you know, if you were in a Sam's Club, I mean, there are these Washburns. You know how Washburn started to their guitar line with as a mail order competitor to Martin, and so you could mail order guitars, and they had pretty much cornered that market when they began. So we were doing some grocery getting yesterday, and noticed that there was a whole pallet of acoustic Washburn guitars for like $150, and I would encourage you to I would encourage anyone who's just wondering about guitar, who's just started to wonder about it. I would encourage you to get the cheapest possible playable guitar, and then really learn how to appreciate a dirtbag. And then some people wear the title dirtbag for the remainder of their guitar lives as a badge of honor. And if you can make that dirtbag sound good, then you can make the anything sound good. But the theory, the philosophy there being, well, let's go ahead and we're tuned up now, so let's go ahead and, well, I'll mind the breathing patterns, and then let me just adjust this thing. This camera seems like it's a little too high this morning. So let's go ahead and do this. The guitar angle is a little different than the other ones we've been working with so far. We'll just get the bar out of the way for now because I don't think we're going to need it right away. We start every morning with exercising fingers 3 and 4. A couple things I want to talk about. The pacing of the chord chemistry. I felt like yesterday's video was a little fast. I felt like that was a little bit fast, and I want to remember why I'm actually going through the book page by page, word by word, chord by chord from this Mr. Ted Green, late great Mr. Ted Green's chord chemistry book. And it's not to comply with the laws of harmonic gravity or the laws of melodic movement or velocity. It's just simply to get a presentation together of all of the chords available in that book, read the words, think the thoughts, and walk side by side with Mr. Ted Green as he sort of like gives us these little tips and guidance operations. So literally it could be like considered to be a little asinine, because it'd be like reading the entire encyclopedia. Do you know what I mean? As a guitar player, that's sort of what it feels like. But I want to do it, you know, it's a personal journey for me, and I want to do it just personally. So a lot of what I've been finding is the pacing of that book is going, you know, if we go too quickly and don't fully examine the chords of the moment, I'm running the risk that we're alienating some viewers that might, you know, some players that might otherwise benefit from going through the whole book, you know. So I'm just reviewing the book myself, and I would encourage you to keep those comments coming. And one of the things that we're getting from the comments is pacing. So feel free to stretch out. What I'm going to do is feel free to stretch out and take a little bit more time and be a little bit more engaged and observant, and practice all of the things that I'm practicing here in the morning ritual, and just work on being engaged with each note of each chord and getting those fingerings together. But also note that some of those fingerings are terribly difficult for me personally. Yesterday, I think I ran into a really difficult voicing one of the minor major 7 chords, and it was, I think, you know, I forget which one it was, but it was 1, 5, 3, and then the major 7 on the top, this one. And this one, it's just a really wild, it's a monster. And for me, that's not easy to do at all, and that takes a little bit of time. So I want to encourage you to, if you have a problem with one of the voicings, just skirt around it and maybe circle back to it later on. That's absolutely no problem at all. So the Washburns are very popular first guitars. That was my first jazz box, was a Washburn. I traded my Ibanez Gem 77FP that I had worked for 2 weeks, you know, a whole summer for, when I was 14 years old. I traded it in for a jazz box when I was in jazz school, and I thought, it still makes me sick to my stomach to think about it. The love that was lost. You know, Washburns are, it's a good part of the story, but if I had to do it all over again, I would never get rid of another guitar. So anyway, here we go. Sorry to keep you waiting. Fingers 3 and 4. We're getting started now. I think we have a pretty good show of hands to get some movement going. 3 and 4, we're using 11 and 12, and then 4 attacks per beat. So you can hear the click in the background. Maybe it's a metronome at 60 beats per minute. So 1 E and 2 E and 4 attacks per each click. It's going to look like this. Exhaust all of the strings in that one position. Descend a position. Descend the string set. Descend again. Ascend. And then descend a position. Descend the pattern. And then descend and ascend the position. And so on and so forth. Our next 15 minutes is going to look a lot like this with different finger permutations. So we'll just go ahead and begin. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and a. Monkey Juice. I heard those Estebans. I had a few people, so that was what, probably like close to, you know, 90, was that 2000, right around 2000? 2000s, wasn't it? This is a completely different beast from the Stratocaster behind me. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Ivan. Fowles. Nice hat. Okay. Guitar Center is always a great bet. I'll go ahead and put I'll place a link to a guitar that I recommend on my community page. I have a couple of guitars that I would recommend, and I'll give you a different reasoning for each one. So if that maybe that'll be helpful for you. I love the combination on your guitar. Oh yeah, it sort of bleeds from one to the next. It's a really great looking finish. Usually what we'll do is go all the way up to fret 12, but I've got a 24 fret guitar here today, so I'm just going to go up to, not all of these, but I'm going to see what I can accomplish with my 3rd and 4th fingers, how Good morning, mostly crazy all the time. Sorry, I'm just getting to these comments. But I want to see what I can comfortably access for range on this guitar without, you know, injury to myself. And it looks like I'll be able to grab all of those frets for sure. And work patiently on breathing. I still have an Esteban in my closet. He gave it to me for free. Nice. That mostly crazy all the time. Anthony, your song was so bad to the bone. It was pretty good, wasn't it? Like the songwriting, all of the recorded tones, the performance for that recording of Journeyman was just, it was amazing. It was really like totally unexpected. Like from your band 𝗠puncher, mostly crazy, like between the recent, so if you're just jumping on board, welcome to the morning ritual for guitar, #1. And #2, we have talent, like serious talent from all over the world. That I don't know how it is working out. I guess mostly probably fingers 2 and 3. Fingers 2 and 3 on 11 and 12, and we're going to keep going while I yap here, so keep us moving. Ready? Frets 11 and 12, and we're going for it. 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do. So we have talent from all over the world showing up, and I have a feeling why people are here is because we're not really buying the gimmick end of things. We're buying that there is only one way to the top if you want to rock and roll, right? And it's hard work. The path is short and it's narrow. Well, it's long and narrow. But the morning ritual is a good way to just wake up the fans, because we have some of us, obviously, like the Denim Dennis, the singer and guitar player, Anthony Tortorello is obviously doing more guitar work than just getting through a morning warm-up. So the morning warm-up prepares us sort of mentally, spiritually, practically, technically, mechanically for the rest of our guitar day. So 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4. Fingers 1 and 2, same exercise. And mostly crazy all the time's got obviously some sick guitar skills that require attention, in his band 𝗠puncher. So somehow people are showing up here, even though they're way beyond this exercise and way beyond chromatic, 2-finger wonders. For some reason, guitarists are still showing up here for the food. And my cousin Petey used to say that it's food for your soul, it's food for your journey, I guess, right? It's a guitar journey, and it's something that you can do with a fretboard, with a family of people on the internet now. So this morning live stream is every weekday from starting at 7:30 a.m. It usually runs for about an hour. And this happens throughout all of 2025. And it's going to be, a hoot for sure. So we have fingers 3 and 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a stretch from 10 to 12. So we're still working the 2-finger exercises. Oh yeah, that regret for getting rid of guitars. Yeah, parting ways with anything is, it's not that when you depart, it's not like it's finished. I mean, the memories are there. All of that stuff is still there. So I'm working on investing and building, and that's a large part of probably why most of us are here, because we understand that there's no short way. There's no short path. It's just It's just one trial and one tribulation after the next. Justin Davis, good morning. How are you today? Great to see you. GG, Ibanez RG, absolutely. Oh, Doug Gallo, all right, in New Jersey. Good work. Oh, Mr. Husband, what's going on? Good morning, good to see you. Fingers 2 and 3, same stretch. This is tremendously difficult for me. So if you see me start to drool, you'll know what's going on. So fingers 2 and 3 on frets 10 and 12. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and a. Thank you for helping us get to 14 likes already, by the way. We've been reaching 40, you know, 43, 44 is our sort of like, you know, recent average over the past 2 streams. So I guess if you could help us to continue, you know, with continuity of that kind of number, that would be a good thing, probably, right? But this stream is definitely it's free, it's self-sustaining. It's the plan is to be here for all of 2025. But you know, like it's one person. So if something happened to me, I guess I would probably no longer, you know, be able to do it. But I don't anticipate on that happening. But, you know, you never know. And then let's take a look at fingers 1 and 3. So we'll continue along with these stretches. How's everybody doing? Fret hands good. Fret hands good. Picking hands good. We'll just proceed. Oh, it's because of you, Teach. Talent and good teaching is easy to spot. Well, you're certainly endearing me to you, that's for sure. You know, I'm easily endeared. Let's get our Teach some likes. Yeah, thumbs up, baby. That's good. That's cool. I appreciate that. And this is, it's just sometimes it feels like, I don't know if you feel like this at all, but sometimes going through these things, especially going through these exercises, these sort of like quote unquote simple exercises in front of an audience. I mean, I would never do this in front of an audience that paid for tickets. Do you know what I mean? I would never do this, but for you, I would do it. For you, I would do this, and you know why? Because fingers 2 and 4 are coming right up, frets 9 and 12. We've got a little stretch going. This is for our friend Kevin here. We're all working on getting that 4th finger continually better, right? So frets 9 and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a 4 E and a. Mark, that's great feedback. I appreciate that. Back. All right. Fingers 2 and 4. I think it's 2 and 4. This has my mind pretty well bent this morning. I'm not sure what's going on. It's probably, you know what it is? It's my breathing isn't catching up to where I want to be. So let me focus on that for just a minute. Oh yeah, I've got tension everywhere in my body for some reason. So that breath, that awareness really starts to help shed that tension. And fingers 1 and 3. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 E and a, right? Let's take a look. Let's celebrate the picking hand in this next sequence. And celebrate that it's going to minimally move through each string. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, because now we have to move this far to get back to the low E string, or this far to get back to the next string. The closer we are, the harder we work to dial in our technique, the better off we are going to be in the long run. And these are the things that, you know, I would love to produce a number of series of saying, hey, let's get rich quick, but I know that it's, you know, it's just requiring the work. The work is where it's at, especially when we're practicing, when we're engaged in an art form, like a high-level art form, like guitar, or playing the guitar, or playing the piano, or, you know, any 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a faux E and a. I get that, you know, some of us want to fool around and experiment with it, and you know, I'm happy just showing up at the campfire and singing with my family and friends, you know, any number of campfire tunes. I have a campfire set list that I can share with you, but it's kind of fun. You probably could add to it and edit it a little bit for me, and maybe make it a little better. But it's but there are some of us, like the, you know, the Mr. Rosenwinkels of the world. I'm going to continue to use his name, the Mr. 𝗏𝗍𝗎s of the world, that really take this craft seriously and advance it to the next level. You know, the Mostly Crazy all the time right here in our own chat, and another great guitar player we've seen. I haven't seen, and then B. Beck. I haven't seen him around for a little bit, but B's a great, you know, another great guitar player aspiring to be one of the greats. And let's take a look at fingers 2, 3, and 4, 10, 11, and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a. We're almost at 20 legs. Hey, you have a gig coming up. Is it February that you said you had a gig with Denim Dennis? This exercise is helping me to use the tips of my fingers. I didn't know that was an issue for me. Can I play the forbidden riff? You bet I can. I was born using that forbidden riff. Oh my word. That was the one that made all of us, many of us. And then the ones who came after are still being made by it. We might not even realize it. And Mark, this routine has unlocked a new level for me. It came exactly at the right time. February 21st at John and Peter's in New Hope. Oh, really? Pennsylvania. So are you live broadcasting any of that, or do you guys take clips of that stuff if we can't attend in person? And will you be advertising that anywhere on YouTube? Just so I know, you know, I'd like to check it out a little bit. I'm not sure if I can get it plain, you know, we drive the Mercedes down there, or the van down there or whatever. That'd be kind of cool, but I don't know if I have the time to do that this time of year. We love to drive that way though. Well, we've taken that drive a number of times. So fingers 1, 2, and 3 on 10, 11, and 12. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Sean, what's going on? I love the color on the axe. Yeah, it's a really cool. I should do a photographic study on it. I mean, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 does a great job with their, you know, capturing it, but there are so many other angles that I should probably do that and just put canvases on my wall. But if I'm going to glorify anything, I guess I should glorify that you're here, just spending seat time. That's just a huge valuable investment. Yeah, Sean, it's an 𝗏𝗏𝗏's RG series, like the H, you know, like 420 or something like that. I have a couple of guitars that are like, I have a Taylor 420 I really love. It's sort of like the cheap Taylor, but I was in a room full of all of the high-end Taylors. Just the, you know, it's a wooden room, like a humidor, but for guitars. And I played every single one of those guitars, and the one that felt the best and played the best to me in '96 was the Taylor 420. I have several Taylors, like the 810s and all of those things, but the best guitar, I think the best acoustic guitar I have is that Taylor 420. and it was like $1,500, and it has a case that you couldn't even buy anymore. They don't even make cases like that anymore. It was actually like a handmade case. Just a beautiful guitar, just a beautiful kit, and I couldn't even believe the price. It just, you know, the shop owner Dougie, we call him Dougie, and he was surprised that I bought the cheapest one. I like had access to any of the guitars in that room, and he's just like, "You sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, all these other guitars are like toys, man." So I don't know. It's just it's a really personal thing. Like when you pick up an axe earlier, someone was asking about how to buy a first guitar, and Anthony's smart enough to say, you know, it's a good idea to try them all and get your hands on a lot of different stuff. So let's go ahead and do a quick stretch, because we've been playing for a little bit now, and I want to roll my guitar volume off so we don't make additional noise. I'm going to just take the strap down and work on just straight elbows. These are great for elbows and wrists, and I'm stretching basically. If I have to roll a little bit, I will. I can just feel like want to, and this feels so good. I haven't done any stretching yet this morning at all. So this feels really good. And if you're just tuning in, you know, we have an hour left of these stretches. So that's all we do at this live stream, is just we stretch for an hour. No, I'm just kidding. We don't do that. What we do is we talk shop, we build each other up, we build the self up first, because charity starts at home, doesn't it? You can't help anybody else out if you can't help yourself, right? So that's problem number one to solve for me. So I'm working on helping myself through, you know, as a guitarist by improving my morning ritual seat time, by securing the fact that I am going to be here every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for at least 1 hour every one of those weekdays for all of 2025. And all of 2025 is going to just kind of, all I'm going to say is don't blink, right? Just don't blink, because this will all be gone before we know it. And then you ask, what's next? Well, yeah, what's next? Why are we actually doing this? Well, because we want to improve ourselves spiritually, guitaristically. You know, we want our you know, thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate that. What we want to do is we're developing. You can see in the live stream here, there's a serious like culture of respect that's been grown over the past month or so, and this is going to do nothing but, it's just getting better and better. So at the end of the year, we'll have used 20 hours. What is that? So 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks. You know, we've got like 260 hours. 260 hours. You know, oh, look at the back of this guitar. You've got to check this out. This is like basically Ibanez's response to, you know, it's basically mahogany and a flame maple top, right? So this is like, you know, and it's got that Les Paul binding style. This is just a brilliant concept. Like who doesn't want, you know, I don't know. I'm not selling these, but I mean, if I was, it'd be a pretty easy thing to sell. So it's got a beautiful neck. It's got beautiful tuners. You know, it's not the most expensive guitar in the world, but, you know, and I'm kind of not a fan of the, you know, the traditional height, like the Floyd Rose height is great, but it's a good system. It's a, you know, bomb-proof system and brilliant design. But I prefer the Ibanez Edge tremolo because, or the bridge system, because it's a lot more, you know, it's out of your way. This thing gets in the way of your palm a little bit, and the Edge tremolo is just, it's just really taking this to a whole new level. So we are going to get into some trem work again this week. This is second week of Guitar Week. We had 1 week planned, but we wanted to just kind of roll with it. We're going to go back into some other things. Let me just stop talking. I need to get back on this because I know you're practicing with me. So fingers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're using 9, 10, 11, and 12. Same pattern, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up with the pick hand. Now you can do a couple of different things. So you can do this escape picking, you know, if you're into, one of my friends is, you know, tremendously like super skilled, like shred guitar player. His name is Mike 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, and he's just a monster guitar player. Like, if you watch his like right hand work, you can find like a short of his on the Pinecone Records YouTube page if you want to check it out. Pinecone Records USA or whatever, but you can find him there just doing a little solo for you, a little solo demonstration. Super guitar player, just reminds me a lot of Mostly Crazy All the Time's guitar skills, you know, so let's go ahead and do this. So 1E and a 2E and a TE and a 𝗏𝗏 and a. Thank you for welcoming Sean aboard. So he's a new sub. And see what happens, like, this is like, people are so in tune and so cool that when they read in the comments section in the live chat here, like, it just blows my mind. It's a simple act of kindness, but welcoming the new person. It's cool. I mean, you don't have to stand there and welcome the new person for an hour until you mingle yourself into social faux pas, but it is a good idea to do that, and I appreciate it. I know that I've seen Anthony do it before. I've seen everyone on this channel who's been here from the beginning. They're all like that. And if you have questions now, you know, anytime I don't answer a question, any guitar player pretty much on this channel is there by design, and it can therefore answer any technical questions or any. I mean, you just look around at who's here, and then you go look at what they're doing on YouTube, and it's like, wow, they're here doing the same simple stuff that I'm doing, and it's mind-boggling, and to the point of, why isn't everyone doing this? You know, it's just, it's not a secret. I mean, the idea is, if you are better at guitar than I am, I'm pleased. I'm happy. I'm only competing with myself anyway, right? I know that I get, you know, pretty unhealthily competitive from time to time, but it's only for myself. So let's take a look at frets 9, 10, 11, and 12, but then we're going to add that fourth finger stretch. So we get that additional workout with the fourth finger. 1E and a 2E and a TE and a 𝗏𝗏 and a. Gleam. All right, so we had a Canada. Hey, Andrew 𝗥𝗲𝗰 here from Canada. Hey, homesick from work and following along. Haven't warmed up. A day in my life. Cheers. That's awesome. We drove through Canada. We came back from, I flew to Anchorage, Alaska, and I think I've told part of this story before, but I never probably told you about wrestling a grizzly bear. That will come out. That's a family story. That's a really well-known, might have been a cinnamon bear, but yeah, the kids still don't believe it, and it seems like I have to rekindle that story a little bit. But we came all the way down through Jasper and Banff and the Canadian Rockies on our way home from, we had spent time through the Yukon and, in the Liard River hot springs, which it was wild at the time. I guess it's pretty much grown up and all commercialized now, but we came through Canada, and it was unbelievably, ungodly beautiful country to drive through. We came east on the 1, and then we had that, you see these hay bales that are the size of like huge American barns. It's just mind-boggling. Oh, Gleam Teams, you go to NAMM 25. You know what? I did not make it to NAMM this year. Did you? Did anybody here make it to NAMM? All right, so we're looking at position 9 with a kickback on finger 1, though. We'll stretch it back. So 1E and a 2E and a you know what to do E and a. Nutshell, yeah, right on. Sam, you got it. I don't know. Did you see 𝗏𝗀 on my channel? I have a session where I teach 𝗏𝗀. So if you're interested in seeing what I do a little bit with it, you're more than welcome to go check. Search Jason Carey Guitar here on YouTube after this live stream. Stick around here for this because we're here every weekday at 7:30 a.m. doing these monster warm-ups. And by the time the end of 2025 rolls around, we are going to see some killer gains. It's not scales, it's an average metal song. Okay. Thank you. So humbled by the kind words. I really appreciate it. I feel bad calling you crazy. It fits pretty well, Anthony. By the way, absolutely loved your song. Just go check the discography for 𝗏𝗀𝗆cher. You know, I'm sure he's listed there. Thank you. I'm so humble by kind words. Hi, Sanjay Krishna. Are you the Sanjay that works at Angus King's office? Mostly crazy. Dude, that song made my night. It flowed from part to part so perfectly. Yeah, you get that. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm sorry to, I understand wanting to hear 𝗏𝗀. Let's see, but I'm otherwise engaged at the moment. If you want to hang out, maybe if you want to hang out, if you have the time to hang out, maybe we can take a look at it at the end, you know? All right, back on to position number 9. We have, also if you want, I do a membership only live stream in the evenings, which, you know, where we take requests, we transcribe songs at the fly. We do a lot of really cool, fun, like granular stuff that is would be a good fit for you, man. It'd be a good fit for you, Sam. This one feels really great this morning. So we've got fingers 1 and 2, 9, 10, 11, 12. Am I in New York City? Wouldn't it be cool if this was the style in New York City? I think it is this style in some places in the New York City. There's a, you know, I'm thinking that, you know, the reclaimed wood look is a nice break and a nice appeal from, you know. So let's take a look. Fingers 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, bottom 4 strings, so 3rd string group. Ready? 1 E and a 2 E and a, you know what to do, E and a. I'm still working on my breath because I still feel a bit of tension in my lumbar. I feel a little tension in my lower back. I feel a little tension in my, you know what? My posture has been suffering. That's what's going on. I've got to just remember to kind of wake up my back here. I've become a slave to the camera angle. That's what's going on. Oh yeah, I have friends in Brooklyn. Oh, here's the bar, way over here now. So let's take a look at minor 7. Actually, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4. What is it? It's I've got a pattern here that I wanted to introduce you to, and it's a simple pattern, and it's a little bit like we were talking about Michael Shrieve. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if it's going to be here tomorrow, but do you remember I've been speaking with you about Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏? Well, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 has flown into town, and he will probably be here tomorrow. So if you have any questions for, you know, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 was at the recording. He was at the power station eating a bucket of fried chicken, a box of fried chicken with the boss, with Bruce Springsteen. You know, back in the day, and the that whole band when they were putting like Born to Run together. He's been, you know, good friends with the Gordon Lightfoot band for a long time, the Marshall Tucker band, the Rush. You know, Mr. Peart, Neil Peart. He had a lifelong good relationship with Mr. Neil Peart. So if you have questions that you would like to ask for someone like him, he might be here early enough to pull up a chair, and we might be able to have a conversation about rhythm and how all of his excursions and his reactions with the modern drummer have influenced and shaped, like for example, Mr. Shreve's you know, position in the band Santana, and Carlos Santana's band, and what does it mean, and how does being a good drummer impact like the world of modern guitar players? Like, how does the physical act of becoming an expert, of repeating something to the point where you can find that moment of trance so that the other members of the band can also build off of the top of that? So anytime a foundation cracks and breaks, the rest of the house sort of starts to crumble, or the rest of the edifice starts to fault. But you can rest assured that people like Mr. Shreve take very seriously the act of their drumming pattern, their percussive work. So Mr. Fish is going to be, it sounds like he's going to be here tomorrow, which is you know, just a wonderful gift. So if you have any questions that you would like to set up, you could just jam those in the live chat, feed them into the live chat. Like, what does you know, how important is rhythm to the modern guitar player, and how does, if you have any sensible, like, you know, insights, if you have any questions that can kind of like help to share insights and broaden our horizons as guitar practitioners, I'd love to hear about that. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Or we can save it for real time tomorrow. Hopefully he's able to make it early enough, and if not, it will likely be either an extended session or it will end up going over to my TikTok feed. You know, so hopefully he's here for this. So let's take a look at minor. We're doing these. Let's do one of Steve Vai's more. You know, sort of. This is a brief excerpt from Mr. Steve Vai's 10-hour guitar workout. So one of the things I like about this is it's only fingers 1 and 3 and 4, but when we move up, ascend one position, we have 1, 3, and 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. When we do this 1, 3, 4, it causes us to use the first finger again in the opposite pattern. So every time the first finger plays lead or runs point, you know, he's the one doing the recon. So let's start that. Let's run that program together, and then 1 E and a 2 E and a T E and a faux E and a. Wrangle my daughter out of bed and off to school. Have a great day, friend. Thanks for being here, and thanks for all of your hard work getting the kids moving, keeping the kids moving too. That's sacred work right there. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, tell your daughter that we all said hello if you're still here. That we all wish her a good, successful, happy, successful day at school. position 8. I do Zoom lessons, yeah, I do. Some of that keeps me busy. But the one-on-one thing can get prohibitively, you know, sometimes it's prohibitively expensive for some, you know what I mean? But I do allocate time. I guess if you had some questions that you wanted to work on for like a month or two, I could help you with developing a program for a month or two, and then it would probably be worth your while. Or we could just get together and jam, you know, and that's still probably worth your while, you know. I don't market that much at all, but it is available. And I appreciate that question, Sam. We've got a lot to cover. Our practice routines have started to expand to the point where now what we're going to do is just work on that minor, that B flat minor 7. So it's 1 4 3 1 3, and then 2 1 4. Then we ascend the position, descend, then we ascend the position again, and ascend again. Then we ascend and descend the pattern. So what we're trying to do is build up speed, because now we're spending time developing a harmonic program. So it's just 4 attacks per beat. 2. I'm going to use the metronome as beats 2 and 4. 1, 2. I can take it about 4. Hey, Mr. McQuenna, how you doing? Hey, Keelan. Nice to see you, Keelan. Have a good day, man. Also, go to power that Marshall up. Cosmo Gang, good morning. Thanks for being here. Now I'm sliding. Maybe working on turning this into a legato style exercise. Maybe that right hand, maybe this starts to become something else over time, right? So we'll start with that. We'll go through. Andrew, I like to do these same exercises, but alternate 1 fret up, then 1 fret back down per string. Yeah, right on. Yeah, good morning. So then we would work on major 7, you know, the major 7 arpeggio. So I want to try to keep this as basic as possible while still getting all of the work in that we need to get in for our morning, our 1 hour warm-up sequence. There it is. G minor, Justin. Godmother, grandmother, grandmaster. Grandmaster. like the term grandmaster. That's pretty cool. You catching up on the live chat? Let me just grab a little bit of that bean here. Okay, the new thing I wanted to work on is these 5-note patterns. It could be any 5-note pattern, but what we do is, the way this kind of thing comes around is there's a horn player that Mr. Rosenwinkel, Mr. Kurt Rosenwinkel is playing with, and he probably, you know, Mark Turner or somebody like that, and he does these little patterns, and then these little repeatable patterns, these phrases that just little note cells, these little cellular structures, and repeating them, like just, and then repeating them and repeating it, and then maybe playing it and playing it and playing it, and that drives the rhythm section of the band into like a frenzy. And you know, Mr. Rosenwinkel reached a point where he was like, I don't have anything like that in my arsenal. So he wanted to develop this thing so that he could have that in his arsenal to help elevate the rhythmic section, the rhythm section in a similar chord. So it could be 𝗕𝗏𝗀 could not make it. Catch you tomorrow, teach. All right. Let's see. Let's say, let's see. GM, sir. That's a beautiful guitar. Good, sir. Thank you, Ryan. I like to do these exercises, but alternate. Okay, good. And, all right. Here we go. I kind of got distracted a little bit in the chat, so I apologize for that. But let's take a look at these. I'm going to go ahead and switch this. I've got my guitar sort of set in single coil. But then, you know, I guess I can tap that coil with a switch, and it creates a little bit, you know, the tone's a little different. Plus, I'm going to turn on a little dynamic delay here, so this should really kind of help things out a little bit. That dynamic delay is really cool because you can play and then stop playing, and the delay just kind of repeats unimpeded. But then you have this really cool function in the old dynamic delay. The delay kind of ducks and gets out of the way of the performance of the notes that are being articulated. But then when you stop playing, all of that delay comes rushing back in. So, you know, dialing in the effects level, like the repeat level, I think is pretty important. So for an exercise like this, where we have those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can do any permutation of that you'd like. I would do probably for fingering solutions, like the first permutation we would do is maybe using only the triad, you know, the F major triad, for example, would be with a major 7 in the bass, the 2, and then 3, and then 2 middle strings. Finger 1 on fret 2, and then finger 4 on fret 3. That's not 3, is it? It's 5. All right. Kevin, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm running a little bit over today, and I appreciate you being here so much. I hope you caught what I said. I hope I said everything I needed to say about my about our chord chemistry series. I'm working to just get the pacing right on that, and then that way we can absorb each chord as we go. I don't want to go too slowly and then just really, you know, bore you to death, but I do also appreciate wanting to be connected to the material. So I appreciate you certainly mentioning that stuff, and we'll talk more about that later on. So you have a wonderful morning and a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Let's see. My name is Justin. Oh, Justin. But grandmother or grandmaster works too. That's funny. Can you please break down the theory behind this 5-note exercise a little more, Jason? Okay. Let's do it. Yeah, I think looking at it differently is good. I think just going through, you know, we'll catch up more about it. I just don't want to, I want to be there. I want to do whatever we need to do to get through the sequence together. And I know it's some of the chords are just they're just, you know, have to work like a banshee to get it. But we'll get there, and see you tomorrow. Yeah, there's a lot of room to explore with just simple things here. The 5-note exercise here, Guitar for Everyone, is going to be just root, 7, root, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We want to work on 5-note clusters. But we're starting this slowly, and it's just a finger study, how to get back how to create a loop. When we start with that half step, and then we move up a major third, and then up a minor third, and then down a minor third, but then we move down a perfect fourth to get back to the beginning. So this is all just slow going. This is another thing that's worth its weight in gold. It's just another piece of kit to put in the bag. And so what we'll do is we'll work on doing this morning, and just kind of just fold it into the mix a little bit as best we can. And you can just kind of experiment with which note you want to be the downbeat. So right now we're starting with the 7 as the downbeat. And And this is a great exercise for me because of that Mr. 𝗫, the Carlos Santana drummer, talking about the repetition that's needed. Like he says, like in his interview, like he says, most white drummers overplay. We just tend to, we tend to overplay. And for whatever reason, we don't focus on the repetitive pattern and what that repetitive pattern can do and how transformative that simple repetitive pattern can be. So it's something that, high level musicians think about, I guess. I don't know. I just know that I want to spend more time wondering about these little note clusters because they're easy to access. There's a low barrier for entry, but then there's also there's an opportunity here for me to tone shape in an environment that could become very, very exciting if I perfect it. You can see like how that would become like very exciting for a player to do. And I will leave you with that today. I have some more things in mind. What I'd like to continue working on tomorrow is our normal breath work, and my plan is normal breath work and tuning up some of our mechanical studies, maybe 4 and 5 notes per beat. And then we'll work on some of this scalar stuff. And I've been trying to get to that 3-note per string, approach that we've been just kind of hinting to over the past couple weeks. And we want to get to that and then start working on some of those 2-note per string, major 7, 7th chord arpeggios that go along with it. And so that's a big day. And I'm not sure if we get to all of that in one session. Maybe that kind of pays out over the course of this week, but we're absorbing some new things into our mechanical process. And do I play left-handed today? Is my screen backwards to you? If that's what's happening, I think probably I should, it does look backwards, doesn't it? I'll have to look at changing that. That's, I think the camera's projecting backwards. Okay. All right, Mark, I just realized that. I've been looking at the monitor thinking everything's normal, but it's not normal. So let me work on that. I'm not sure why that's happening this morning, but good catch, Raul. I also wanted to mention, let's see, backwards, yes. Robbie Smith, yes, backwards, okay. It is, if you're using the front camera on your phone, it flips the image. You could probably change it in settings. I'll have to take a look. I am using the front. It's like the old iPhone XS Max, you know what I mean? It was interesting but distracting. I can see now that that's something that will work to correct. Is that the first morning that this has happened? Or have all of these feeds been backwards? Kind of cool. 𝗵𝗶𝗀 learned golf this way. Oh yeah, interesting. Here it is. Father swing. He turned out pretty good, I would think. Yeah. All right. I think the morning ritual has officially come to a conclusion. I'm going to hang out for another couple minutes because I want to just kind of see myself backwards for a few more minutes. Do you have any other questions at all? Now's a great time for questions. Yeah, I really like surfing with the alien was a big deal for many of us at the time. Do you know any apps for basic music theory? There is, that's at Grabby Smith. Siri, it's like a mirror. I'm sorry about the mirror thing. I'll work on fixing it, and definitely would love to see you back again. And just, you know, it's a free morning session. And right now we're running over in very informal approach, and we're getting ready to, we're just getting ready to jump for the day. So we can, I know your time is valuable and worth countless, your time is priceless. So I don't want to squander that. And I do definitely appreciate you being here. But unless there are other, you know, okay, so an app for basic music theory. Let me take a look into that, and sometimes others in the live chat will have responses. But at this point, I think what I'm going to do, you seem like such a good person for real. No, I appreciate that. It's hard to be, you know, for some, it's harder than others to be good people. And one of the things that you want to work on with the guitar is, you know, the whole point of playing the guitar is to improve the world in which we live. And I can't do that. Unfortunately, some people know me as the person who rolls into the boardroom and just kind of demolishes a meeting. And other people know me as, you know, in a different capacity. And I have no problem being assertive when the underdog needs to be served, right? Have zero problem with that. Just work on who could use, you know, where are the, you know, perceived weak links or the underserved voices or people. And, you know, in this case, that's me underserving myself as a guitar practitioner. So why I'm here is specifically oriented toward my person. It's specifically the time that I'm spending here is specific to me. It's specific to me improving my person, myself, my guitar skills, my craft, because one thing that you find that you're not going to hear a lot of in your life is that you are solely responsible for yourself. You are solely responsible for developing your own talent. And if you do not do it, nobody else is going to do it for you. And that's how things work. I have had these fantasies in the past where everything will happen for me, and then I'll go through periods of, you know, it's feast or famine is what we call it. And those periods where I go on coast, the only time is now. Yeah, that's correct. It's super, super important to take the bull by the horns, because you know the bull's going to take you wherever it wants. But if you're not prepared to, you know, life sometimes, you know, it takes you by the bull horns and it just kind of brings you wherever it wants you. But 2025 for me personally is all about developing myself as a guitar player, a better person, a better husband, a better father, a better uncle, a better son, a better community member, a more thoughtful contributor. So that's where the arts and the parks things comes. And I know Anthony's already been working on a song that, you know, he wrote in one of our great national or state parks. So we want to draw attention to the important things this year. And sometimes Carpe Diem, yeah, the only I love that you are relating to it. I've been in rooms full of people with, you know, Bank of America attorneys, you know, with all of these people who think they're they're doing the help. And, you know, maybe it wasn't Bank of America, but they're rooms full of people like that. And, you know, wondering why I'm the only musician that they bring to the table. And there's a story there. I'm not sure it's appropriate for this forum. But you could go, you know, for, let's say, you know, you had worked your entire life to be a performing musician. And some, you know, how the business is hard, and it should be hard, it should be competitive. One of these shortening the plateaus, yeah. One of the things that that we run up against is this is a competitive field that we play in, right? If we were in medicine, medicine is super competitive. It should be more competitive. It could be more competitive. I'm sure at levels, certain levels, it's very competitive, probably unhealthfully competitive. The other field that I feel like is underserved, like, I don't know, I want to start this discussion. I think education is maybe a little underserved, and it could be a little bit more competitive, because who's teaching, well, I mean, who's teaching our next generation, and what are they teaching the next generation? And if they're not the best possible fit for their position or their station in life as an educator, educators should be like, public educators should be like right up there with like neurosurgery, in my opinion. I mean, it's not, I don't expect everybody to agree, but I do expect, you know, that to be thought-provoking anyway. And it's, yeah, protect their work. So musicians have to be good businessmen. You know, that's a great thing that we could really talk more about that, Raul. I know, like, musicians that have come and gone, they've come to pass, and they've created these volumes of work and left those volumes of work to the world, but there's no estate. So like all of that lifetime of work that was done, where does that go? Like all of that humanity that they accumulated through a lifetime, through music notation, through books, through the sharing of the craft, like where does all of that go when you die? Like how does that benefit your family or your progeny or the world at large? So one of the things that we want to cover here in the morning ritual is mostly the spiritual, maybe the intellectual growth of my own person, and maybe you have your own goals set for yourself. And hopefully you do have your, you know, maybe however you work, if goal setting is your thing, then do it. But one of the things that we want to really work on is getting better at our craft, getting faster, getting more proficient with the fretboard as a singularity, and then approach the fretboard in a different way, the fretting hand, the you know, the picking hand, all of those things, but at the end of this year are going to have different meanings to me, right? And I'm assuming if it metamorphoses into something new for me, I'm assuming that it will metamorphose into something new for you as well. So that's where I'm going with that. Fat, cool hat, I love the hat. Have you ever thought about like speaking to youth or, yeah, been there, done that. Yeah, it's a great idea. You're genuinely saying things I wish I had heard you say, and in an enjoyable way. Well, I used to work with a jack, and there are some really, you know, those of us, even if we have a got an American Pro 2 Strat, the bridge is a nightmare, buzzing any advice. Yeah, find a good guitar tech, you know. Very wise person. I think that's, I'm working, you know. You think you're 𝗃𝗏𝗄𝗎? I don't think I'm anybody except for myself. So I love creating music, but I hate the business side and would rather someone else worry about that. And yeah, you know, get friends, good friends or family that are sophisticated. That's good. The way you dress reminds me of 𝗃𝗏𝗄𝗎. Gotcha. That's interesting. So I would like to just encourage you to kind of just so let's see what happens when we do this. I think Joe is Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝗎 is a wonderfully talented person and musician, and he's clearly one of those people. You know, he's a polarizing figure in the music business, but he's clearly come to grips with, you know, it's okay to be me, it's okay to be who I am and say the things that I think, because, you know, we do live in a country that still allows that, and, you know, it's okay. I mean, you have your think, I have my think, but that think really boils down to, you know, my think is all centered around us not being different, because, or us being better or worse than one another, but we're all sort of celebrating that difference, right? So the different thing is what makes us, because there's a song that I'm going to continue to refer to, and maybe we'll all play it together, but there will never be another you. And it's just how it is. In a time where, you know, computers become more and more perfect, the imperfection of man is what is more important, right? And more important. And that's what it says at the foot of my statue in front of one of these universities here in my great state, my home state. So I do really feel deeply about having an individual and developing an individual voice. It's a hard thing to do. It requires a lot of cutting of ties, a lot of those, just commitment. But the act of being here, doing the thing, and you'll hear me. I talk about this with my wife a lot. Like it's the doing of the thing that counts, right? The activity is the key. And if you know, if somebody doesn't like necessarily what you're doing, like music is like perfect. It's a perfect venue. Like it's a perfect freedom. So. Yeah, that's some. Well, I think that's some from Railroad, maybe. Any experience with pure vintage Strat tremolo system? Yeah. Do you think if you have a Strat and it's, what's the problem? Intonation, or what? The string height, or what's going on? I love jacks and guitars. Absolutely. Any advice for co-writing credits when one member does most of the heavy lifting while the other guy helps? But not near the same level. Well, you can ask that tomorrow, because my songwriter, a co-writer that we have, you know, an agreement. We have an established collaboration with Mr. Scott K. Fish, we write songs together in the hopes that one of us together will write a new standard. You know, a new song that is a standard becomes a new standard. And those aspirations are really important, those questions. So the discussion and the relationship that you build up to the point where you're going to reach engagement with another songwriter or lyricist or whatever, collaborator, those conversations have to be, as a matter of fact, they have to be frank, they have to be legal, they have to be executed. You know, there's a draft, an agreement that's written probably and then signed, I would think, right? Wouldn't you? Because you never know when a song's going to pop off and get legs. You know, we've had songs go, you know, on the front page of the New York Times. I mean, they go everywhere. Songs go everywhere. So it's not, you never know. But you want to protect yourself as much as you want to protect your songwriting partnership as your songwriting partner, because you're both humans trying to do human things. We're both trying to feed our face in the context of a world that doesn't care, and you could be lower than a snake's belly and a wagon rut and write a song about it, and then when you produce the song and ship it, you know, someone could steal it, or someone, well, attempt to steal it, but you know, there are protections. There are like performing rights organizations or PROs that you can, and you know, get familiar with, and maybe it's worth it still, right? I think it is, because you know, it's important to protect your work, like Mr. McKenna said. It's always just gone 50-50 when collaborating. Yeah, there are some tools like that you can use to sort of help calculate, you know, time and talent, but if you're here tomorrow, I'll see if Mr. Fish is in town, right? And he's a songwriting collab. So I don't know if you're just tuning in. This is the morning live stream, which is a morning ritual for guitar growth. And guitar growth, we focus for the first hour on getting through our breathing. We have to breathe. We have to breathe if we want to become proficient in anything, becoming a world-class sniper, you know, a 3-point thrower, you know, a penalty thrower, like if we want to be a goal kicker, we want to be a field goal kicker. All of that comes down to breath. We want to be the fastest guitar player and set a world record. All of that is going to come down to whether or not I have the capacity to control my breath. So we incorporate at the beginning of every live stream, this 5 days a week, every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just have to give it a plug because it's so important for us to just sort of show up and be here and just contribute to the live chat, because this informs all of our paths forward. These questions are like real questions that real people are having in their real engagement when they rub up against the music system, the music business. You know, these are really important things to consider. I mean, in my mind, it's like business. It's a real thing. I've always just gone 50-50. I think it's important to establish that relationship early, because, you know, if you are going to do most of the work, and then if that changes, you have to have a change your order or an agreement updated or whatever, and then you have to re-execute the contracts or the agreements or whatever. But I would definitely take what you're doing very seriously, because, you know, someone who I admire very much spent an entire lifetime drafting material for the guitar, and now everyone in humanity will always benefit from it, right? And there was no family estate. So what did, you know, he advanced the guitar from the known into the unknown for an entire lifetime, but there's no, you know, there's no like care package left behind for his family, right? So what are, you know, why would we think in those terms? Why wouldn't we think in those terms of, you know, sure, guitar is great, I'll have to bang around on it and play in front of the campfire, and that's cool, but if you wanted to become, you know, a professional musician, then you start thinking about professional things, and you just do the professional thing. It's not always the most fun thing. The business end is definitely not my favorite part of things, but, you know, got to do it. Chet Atkins, I just said Chet Atkins just come up and play some riffs high. So play some riffs. I'm getting a little high. Let's try this, you know. So let's see what we got here. So we got like minor pentatonic stuff that's pretty fun to do. There's that, you know, there's always the, you know, simple stuff. You know, you can do all of that stuff with two-handed tap, like really simple approaches to two-hand tapping. And then, but if you wanted to talk about some like real mastery of the instrument, you know, you start thinking about like the Chet Atkins of the... Just listening to like the Chet Atkins record, The Day the Fingerpickers Took Over the World, that's a great album. And then Lefty, yeah, my camera's backwards today. Sorry about that, man. I have the saddles all the way up and the D string is still buzzing. Adjusted everything else. You adjust the neck. How's the neck look? I have a certain amount of guitar knowledge from owning a shop. I've owned a shop and, you know, multiple like lesson, you know, private lesson groups, and then I founded and directed a conservatory of music once in a previous life. So I've had a lot of access to, like, you know, that I've had access to like state departments, and for some reason, and then but just it's just general knowledge. I would read as many guitar lutherie books as I could if I were you. And it sounds like you have an interest in getting good and proficient at, you know, the art of maintaining a guitar, and that's as important as it is to play the guitar, right? So to have a guitar that is set up properly and playable and the way you prefer it to your playing style is a super important thing to hone. It's a big skill that's widely underlooked, and we suffer in my area with, you know, we have a lot of people who are just sort of hacking away at it, and you know, there might be one like real practitioner, you know, like really taking it seriously, and then there's another one who's like the village sage, way above anybody else, and he's my tech, right? So, but, you know, how long is the tech going to be around? What happens if something happens to that tech? So it's a good idea to know how to do the things yourself too. I'd recommend looking at some lutherie books, like guitar building books. Build a couple of guitars yourself. I'll bring down a guitar and hang a guitar up here that I've been building and stuff. And at some point, you can take a look at that. Hopefully inspire you to do something, you know, that you also like to do. Let's see. I would check the neck though. Yeah, some dude. So do you check the neck? Yeah, I'm 28, been playing guitar since I was 6, but was never good at setting up guitars. And just been learning to set up guitars the last 2 months. Got a bunch of tools and things. That's a good thing. That's a good investment. That's a good investment. Here's a really cool exercise that you can do. I'm going to leave you. We do this every day, every weekday morning. Excuse me, I have a sneeze. We do this every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. and I invite you to the morning ritual for guitar growth. It's free for all of 2025. So, but I don't typically stay this long. I don't typically talk like this. We'll typically run through exercises like this. And we'll do stuff like that and kind of... And it'll work on, you know... We'll work on like the, you know, diminished sequencing. And it's, you know, I'm not really warmed up for like... You know, whatever, it's like, it's all in there somewhere, but if I was working on a shred band, I would probably polish up some of those skills. But we're working on just basically improving ourselves in the art of guitar this year, and all of 2025, we're here this morning for every morning, 5 days a week, every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to do the breathing work, the tuning work, and the chromatic work and just keep the fingers moving so that way you can achieve, you know, it's a good place to start practicing with everybody else on the planet. We have probably hundreds of people with a guitar, you know, coming in and out of this stream. And, you know, at any moment, we probably have a handful of us all over the planet sort of practicing these drills together so we can do this morning ritual together and grow together and watch each other grow and help each other grow. So that's the mission here. I need one more like to get 40. If you can help me with that, that'd be super. Let me go back through some of these comments here. Any advice for co-writing edits? Hopefully that was helpful, Tack. The electric guitar rough sound Jimmy had can't be made by a computer. Right. It's important to be, you know, find your own. Linkin Park. Yeah, I love Linkin Park. I love those guys. And I just love that, you know. I've always had a new standard. If you're just showing up here, by the way, 𝗪𝗏, my songwriting collaborator partner, is going to be here with us tomorrow, either here or on my TikTok channel after this. So if he can get here early, he'll be here. And if he gets here a little later at 9:30, he'll be on TikTok at Jason Carey Guitar. So it's something you don't want to miss if he's around. It's a rare opportunity to talk to speak with a person of his caliber on my channel. So it's a great thing to do, and I wanted to make it available to you for free if he's into it. So maybe you can have some, you know, songwriting questions for him tomorrow. Can we see those guitars? There's a little Nirvana for you. 100%, they make it a vocation. When one tech closes, another one opens. Yeah, that's good. They make it a vocation. It is sort of a vocation, isn't it? Yeah. In fact, the 100% people need to spend time with their instruments and get them playing exactly how they want. I spent literally months with string gauges until I got exactly what I want for my standard tuning. That's really cool, yeah. And then subbing out individual strings, that makes sense. But you know, to a beginner guitar player, if you're just new getting a guitar, I recommend getting as cheap a guitar as you can, but playable. That way you have a full appreciation for the bottom end of the market. And then by the time you graduate to the top end of the market, you have a full appreciation of what that means, what that difference is, the range of expression. Because, you know, you might write a song that requires you to play a $50 Harmony Stella that you got on Craigslist to make that recording happen. And you just won't have any appreciation for what that sound needs to be if you haven't played that guitar. It's so simple, like just get a cheap guitar and, you know, fix it up. Just do it. It's simple. Yeah, I love the diminished sequencing. And so there's this diminished sequence that is, so that could be like the G7, right? You know, with a flat at 9, which could resolve to C. Or it could be like, you know, it could be like the G7 goes to C, or it could be the G sharp diminished that goes to A major. It's the same resolve, right? So this one chord has 4 different places where it can resolve to. It could resolve to E flat from, so this alleged G sharp diminished could resolve to E flat major. It could resolve to C major. It could resolve to G flat major, you know, G flat major 7. It could resolve to A major. So it has each diminished sequence, and then that diminished chord, of course, repeats itself every 3 frets. And because of the way the diminished sequence works, like sequence, every half, whole, or whole, half, however you start the sequence, there's a diminished scale and there's an inverted diminished scale. That's some really spooky technology. It's like, for me, it's like studying quantum mechanics, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, you know, when you get deep in there, it's like you get deep and you get lost. You could get lost, you know, for a while. And then it could be a while before you come up for air again with the diminished sequence, you know. Give me tips, exercise every day to the guitar. So if you don't mind, 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗀, Mr. Jervin, you could come here every day, weekday, at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And these are the exercises. I'm actually playing through these exercises with you. So I would recommend that you show up every day. It's free. This live stream is free every weekday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for all of 2025. We're going to take the very first episode that we did. We're going to take the last episode we did, 2025. After 260 hours of practice time, we're going to see how much did we improve? How much did I improve from this one to this one? And we're going to do a full breakdown, and we're going to fully understand and fully appreciate what happens when we sit down with a guitar 5 days a week for an hour at a time and 260 hours a year. What happens? What changes in us? Does our attitude change? Does our guitar skill change? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it absolutely does. And it's going to change rapidly. So I would recommend you just come here. This is great. You can check out other exercises on my channel if you like at jasoncareyguitar.com. And any way you can support it, that's great. We totally appreciate all of it. Just you're spending your seat time here with us is a major investment on your part. So it's here for you, and it's here for me too. You know, that's an important thing to remember. Gave you a like, some dude, thank you very much. And subbed. I appreciate the sub. I appreciate all of that stuff. And the most important thing you can do is spend the seat time throughout the year, and you're going to make some new friends. I know you're going to make some new online friends, some online connections. I know you're going to benefit. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not one of those at all. I'm not selling you. I'm not selling tickets to get into the morning live stream. It's free for everybody. So, you know, bad business idea on my part probably, but I'm going to be here anyway doing it because I have a goal set that I need to accomplish, and this is part of me working to achieve that goal. Okay. So I have a very specific goal that I want to accomplish in the next 12 to 24 months. So this is the door. I've written a plan. Now I'm executing the plan. I thought I'm going to be here anyway. And if you wanted to be, I thought if I want to be here doing this, I know other people, I know other guitar players on the planet also want to be here doing this. So I'm going to be here doing this. Okay. All right. And would love your accompaniment, companionship. Okay. And, agreed, range appreciation. Yeah, absolutely. Huge, huge stuff. I play an Ibanez Talman. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful guitar. Highly recommend. I agree. Thank you. At Diminished Resolve. Golden. Yes, Alchemy for sure. 4:30 a.m. So that's when that's what I do. I wake then. That's my waking hour, and then 4:30, and then I wanted to do this at 7 o'clock in the morning, but it's just a little too early for some of us, and I wanted to make a concession, you know, between later in the day and earlier in the day. And the first thing that we do as a guitar player, what do guitar players do? Guitar players play guitar. We play the guitar, and sometimes in my case I talk way too much. Okay, but every day I play guitar, and so I'm going to show up here and play the guitar. So that's very simple. What a great idea for live feed. Subbed today, Miss 𝗵𝗡𝗄. Thank you very much. I have no idea. Like, there are so many of us that just want to practice, and we can't. You know, I can't. It's so difficult to spend the alone time together. The alone time is the only way. It's the only path forward, though. It's the only path forward. But while we're warming up, we can be warming up together. See, and this works out really well for me. It works out well for many others. And I'll let you go now. But keep in mind, guitar for everyone. 40 plus likes. We made it. Thank you very much. Thank God for bad business. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, right? All right, it's 5:15 p.m. in Turkey. Oh, hey, we do repost these. So if you want to look at these in the morning, you can just operate a day, go back a day. And we keep the live chat. We preserve the live chat feed. So the live chat feed is worth its weight in gold. Just to come here and ask the questions and get the answers. It's typically it's a culture of respect on the channel, and that's what we're that's what we're working to develop. And thank you for being here, Mark. Got to go to work at 6:30 a.m. Okay, I noodled too much. Yeah, I know it. I'm riffing way too hard right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thank you again for your time. I'm going to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And there are some really great players here, and I don't know how this has all happened, but I know it's happening, and I know now what's going to happen is we're going to continue to move forward. We're all going to continue to grow together, and it's slow going, easy going. We don't want to take any missteps. Some of us will stumble, and we'll be there to help each other along the way, and it's just going to be an awesome 2025 for guitar. Okay, so I thank you for being here, and I thank you for the best investment of all, which is your seat time. Okay, and until we meet again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I wish you happy picking. There we go.